The Roman Catholic Church became rich today due to the Dark Ages. Because they were the only ones who had the gospel and they manipulated the gospel. So they would have systems like, if you want your loved one who has passed away to go to heaven, pay us so that we move them from purgatory to what? To heaven. What's never caused to be worshipped on a Sunday? Right?
100%.
People in their human logic says, no, we have thought more than God. Because Jesus, one of the reasons, resurrected on a Sunday. So we should worship him. You don't decide on worship. The one who is to be worshipped decides on how he wants to be worshipped. We cannot get the seal of God if we haven't rectified how faithful we are in keeping the Sabbath. And now the honest truth is, God is not content with the bare minimum. And that's the reality that we do not want to talk about.
Never.
We think as long as I am doing a small portion for
You
God,
will understand.
God should understand. Ubuntu in African communities is no longer there. Right?
It's gone.
We grew up.
It's
I don't know if you guys are part of the generation that grew up where a child belonged to the community. Right? That let me go a radical bit. That it was okay for the neighbor to beat your child. And Jesus, throughout his ministry, which we often miss, he preaches that the law represents his character. Right? So if the law represents his character, in order for God to identify his people, you identify his people by their character. Now those who are faithful in God, they will receive now the seal of God. Those who receive the mark of the beast will now receive that mark. Neither of the two groups, by the way, can die from henceforth. Right? We have people who cannot die, no matter how you step them. He says, no, let me explain to you. This is how I was availing myself to your mother. Right? This is to the extent that after you have seen the full picture, you will say, God, if I was in your shoes, I would have done the exact same thing. Indeed, you are just. That woman does not deserve to be here.
All right, Mr. Prince.
Yes.
We have a tradition on Rhythm and Charts.
Okay.
You know, so our previous guest leave a question for the guest who's coming.
Hey, let's hope it's not too much of a difficult question.
Yeah, let's hope so. But here the question. The question was like to say the Christian singers and also the preachers, when they render their service, they then ask to be paid. Now the question is why? Why
are they asking to be paid?
Yeah.
There's the shorter answer, then there's the longer answer.
Yeah, give us all. Give us all.
The short version is due to greed. Right? That people are just always ready to make profit out of anything. They don't care who they have to bamboozle along the way, as long as they are making money in their pockets. That would be the shorter version of the answer. Now the longer, more biblical version is that it's just indicative of Christ's second coming.
Okay.
Why am I saying that? We are dealing with the typology. A typology means something that happened in the past has to repeat itself in the future. So in this case, we are dealing with a case where in the past, remember, before Christ's first coming, the state of the church was that every service the church was doing was for sale. Right? When Malachi is actually talking chapter 3 verse 10, we are not necessarily just talking about tithe and offering. When he's talking about robberies, it was because the priests themselves were starting to sell services in the church. Right? Furthermore, we even come to Christ addressing that issue when he chucks people out of the temple. It was because the temple had become a business district. And that is what we are seeing today. Right? That's the easiest and the quickest way to make money is church-wise. Right? People are willing to pay for the services because they are spiritual. Anything spiritual, it's easy for people to pay for. That's why preachers are charging for the gospel, which is supposed to be free. Right? Gospel is supposed to be free. That's the whole aspect why it's called the gospel. It's free of charge. Yes, salvation is free. But now it's no longer that free. As you have seen, it costs a lot of money. There's a 20,000 bill to it. And singing. Singing parts of the gospel.
It's also like preaching.
Also goes. Actually, we could even go into depth to say spiritual gifts were not for profit.
Exactly.
That was for talents.
Yes.
Spiritual gifts were for edifying the church. So if we are making a profit out of spiritual gifts, then that means there's something wrong with us. Right? But a quick thing is, I also don't want us to just blame the musicians.
Yes, sir.
We also have to blame the buyer. If someone, we don't just blame the prostitute, we blame the person who also goes and buys. Right?
All right.
It's powerful.
I never thought it in that.
In the standard of being an Adventist, number one, the whole idea is we know that we don't work on Sabbath.
Yes.
So if we find ourselves paying for services on Sabbath, we have two people who have a problem. The one who's selling the service, the prostitute, and the one who's buying the service.
Both of them.
So if we are tolerating the fact that someone says, come and render us the word of God, and they say, I come with a 20,000 check, and we pay the check. Both of us are in the wrong. Yes,
100%.
It's not a one-sided
100%.
thing. That on a Sabbath, we are willing to gather and pay tickets for 500 rand to listen to music on a Sabbath day. Both the service render and the one who is buying.
The music convention.
It goes
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
No,
and
man.
we like to attend those things, man.
You, especially you.
Yeah, but we are learning. Anyway,
No, man, I love that answer, man. Brilliant. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, Lacha, welcome to it. This is Rhythm and Charts, and our guest is Mr. Prince. Hey, you've heard him. We are here today, you know.
We are here,
and this is Mr. Mandaza. My name is Ripe. All right, we are diving into a very, very interesting and a very diverse conversation, as I may say. We might not even cover everything, you know. And you did mention a part of it, the second coming of Jesus or the end time, you know. There are end time events and end time messages. But maybe someone is sitting there and they don't know what is an end time, you know. Because I believe, and I've met many people who don't understand what is meant by the second coming, the end time, the world will end. What is that? So maybe in your own understanding, in your own explanation, how best can you explain to someone who doesn't know when you're talking about the end time?
Okay, if I was to explain it, I would say one thing that maybe every religion in the world agrees on is that the earth is not going to last forever. Right?
Yeah,
even atheists do agree that the earth has an expiry date. Right? So when we're talking about the end times, we are saying there is going to be a time where all, as we know this earth to be, will come to an end. Right? Be it you're an atheist who thinks one day we're just going to explode and it ends, or be it a Buddhist who thinks one day we're all just going to reach eternity and whatever. But from a Christian perspective, we believe that the end time, it is the return of the Creator who made the earth. So since he started it, he's also going to end it. That is how I can easily put it, that the one who started it comes to a time where he ends life as we know it on this earth. And as we can go further in the discussion, we'll talk and start a new life beyond what we know as life.
Nice. Mr. Mandaza.
Powerful stuff.
Your thoughts on the end time?
End time, man. Maybe I would just want to add. So a lot of us, we agree. In many religions, they agree. Actually, if you go into the Muslim community, they also say what we say. They believe in the second coming of Jesus Christ, the Muslims. So basically, everyone knows that this earth is not going to last for forever. It has to end somewhere there. But now you are saying what end time? I want to also relate it with the events. So maybe that is where we differ with a lot of religions now. Because us as Adventists, we have a timing. So a lot of people now, they are not aware that we are actually living in the last days. I would say we are in the last days now. End time, I want to just put it easy to say we are living in the last days of this world. So that is where we are different now. Us as Adventists, we believe that we are living in the last days. So there's a lot of things which are happening, which we know that if this and this and this and this is happening, we are actually in the end time now. So there's these end time events, then there's a second coming of Christ.
All right. The end time events and the end time message. I won't lie. From me, I won't even say someone was sitting out there. Me sitting right here. When I was trying to search during the searching thing, I couldn't really understand what is meant by the end time message, you know. I mean, the events are things that are occurring and happening. But now, when they are saying the end time message, exactly what are they meaning when they are saying the end time message?
Right. So the end time message, we are talking about the message that prepares us for the upcoming end that we are all agreeing on.
Okay.
As he touched on, there is a sequence of events where the Bible is very clear it's going to happen. And maybe as a basis for our conversation, I want to put this up front, that Romans chapter 3 verse 4 says, let every man be a liar and God be true.
Hey.
Right? So meaning we can discuss our opinions on what we think is going to happen.
Yeah.
But our opinions don't matter in the sight of God, because let everyone else be a liar and God be true.
Yeah.
So meaning even if a scientist comes with all ample evidence that does not support what God said about the end times, he's a liar.
Yeah, 100%.
Right? So we are saying, as we're heading towards the end time, there is events that will happen, and there's a preparation process for people who are going to be living in the last days, number one, and people who want to live beyond the end times.
Okay.
So there's a preparation sequence that we have to discuss about. Yeah. Maybe if I'm guiding the conversation, I would say there is a sequence in the Bible where God always fires 3 warning shots.
Yeah.
Right?
Before he destroys.
Right?
3 warning shots.
3 warning shots.
Yeah, he works with 3 or 7.
Every time he always does 3 warning shots.
Yeah.
Right, let's take it back a bit. Genesis chapter 6. He fires 3 warning shots.
Yeah.
By the way, the first preacher about the incoming doom was not Noah. It was Enoch.
Yeah.
Jude confirms it. That Enoch was the prophet who was preaching the what? The upcoming. Then it came Methuselah. Then Noah was the final warning shot.
Oh, yeah.
So God always fires
Never
3 warning shots.
Yeah.
Me too.
He always fires 3 warning shots.
Yeah.
So as we are heading to the conversation, there are 3 warning shots that are being fired. Now we need to know at which warning are we at. Because after the 3rd one, surely he's now attacking because the 3 warning shots have been fired.
Yeah. Nice, man. Just to follow up from what you are saying.
Nice. Yeah.
The 3 warning shots. The 3 warning shots, which one is the last one? What will be happening on the last one?
In the last one. Now, the last one, which is, we are now discussing Revelations chapter 6, where we have the last warning shot that says there will be the sealing of God's people and the marking of the beast.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, mark of the beast.
And now we talk about the mark of the beast. Sounds very complicated, but guys, it's a very, very simple thing.
Yeah. It sounds complicated, honestly.
It sounds very good, but that would be...
Or people complicate it.
Or people complicate it.
Yeah.
But if I was to simplify it for our audience, it will be a time of decision making.
Okay.
Yes.
Right?
Okay.
Because number one is none of the 2 parties are going to make decisions for you. We often forget that.
Yeah.
It is people in the middle who will be making their own decisions on whether they want to be sealed this side or they want to be sealed this side.
Yeah.
And that will be the final warning shot. Depending on where you land, that is God's response.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Before we dive into it deeply, would you say we are in the end time now? Even you, Mr. Mandaza, would you say the time that we are living right now, would you think, or would you say it's the end time?
Yeah, man, we're in the end time now. We're in the end time. Yeah. If you go to, is it Matthew 24?
Yes.
If you read Matthew chapter 24, most of the things which Christ was mentioning, most of them had happened. So, because remember the disciples, they asked that, okay, tell us, how are we going to know that you are coming?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So now Christ was giving the what? The timing to say, if you see this, the love of many to grow cold, you are seeing it. You can feel it in church that, hey, I'm just suffering alone here, you know. So these things are happening. Yeah. They are happening. Yeah. So if you read Matthew 24, most of the things that happen, actually what we are left with is just for him to come, you know. But yeah, we've seen wars happening. There's a current one actually happening, the Russia, Ukraine, Israel with the Palestinians, all these things, you know. So we are really, really in the end time.
Nah.
We are in.
Yeah.
We are in, man.
Would you also say we're in the end time? Maybe also a follow-up question to that. Should it be scary, you know, when we are talking about the end time?
People are scared, man.
You know, should it be scary if we are in the end time?
Yeah, I would say we are in the end times. As he I think he elaborated much about Matthew chapter 24.
Yeah.
And one of the key indicators of the end time is the heart of man.
Yeah.
And I think every psychologist, every person, even you don't have to be a psychologist to know that people have grown colder. Right? Let's talk African communities. Ubuntu in African communities is no longer there. Right?
It's gone.
We grew up.
It's
I don't know if you guys are part of the generation that grew up where a child belonged to the community.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That let me go radical, but that it was okay for the neighbor to beat your child.
Yeah.
If your child did something wrong in a process of rectifying the child. Today, that neighbor will sleep in a prison.
now you go to jail.
It just shows how far off. Now we're even going far with neighbors. Teachers themselves, they're struggling with our kids.
Yeah.
They are not parental figures anymore.
Yeah.
They are told, do your job and it ends there.
And leave it.
Even further, it will
teach
end
and
you
learn.
in trouble. We are seeing slowly by slowly,
Yeah.
the hearts of men are growing cold. Right? For us, death is very normal. Right? People are not scared to kill people. Yes. And there are so many attributing factors to that. We can go into the action series of Hollywood. Got us so acquainted
the
with
movies.
death that now we think killing people is normal.
Yeah.
Right? But in general, the heart of man is growing cold. There are other key indicators. We are told about the rising of false prophets.
Yeah.
Right?
That one.
Yeah.
Not only false prophets who perform miracles.
Yeah.
That's a key indicators. I mean, there's a church at every corner of the universe. Yes. And everyone is claiming that they are what? They are a true prophet.
Amen.
Right? And furthermore, there's a rise of false Christ, where people are claiming to be Christ himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen a video. I saw a
Yeah.
video of this. Yeah.
Where people who claim that they are Christ himself, or people who claim that they have seen Christ in the East. So all the attributes that Jesus told us in detail, they are already okay.
They are happening.
Yeah.
They are happening.
Yeah.
So it shows us that we are almost at the end line of it.
Yeah. All right. Just to add up to show how much we are in the end time. The Bible do speak about the fact that there will be trouble in the end time. You know?
Yes.
We are seeing the troubles around. Just to add up, I got some 3 points in social media. Social media is very informative if you use it in a right way. 3 points that I get there. And if you relate, you will agree with me.
Yes.
They say that we were the last generation who used to come out and call each other at the door to go play outside. Yeah, I don't know if you guys did that. Hey, bro, let's go play outside. We were the last generation. Nowadays, nothing is happening. The second one, they're saying we're the last generation who could have fun without phones, you know, and time will feel like it's very small, you know, playing outside there.
Yeah.
Right now, kids of nowadays, it's all about here in the screen, you know.
TikTok.
We are also shooting a video for the screen, though. But yeah, it shows how much of the end time we are in. The last one, they're saying we're the last generation who grew up between sunset and not screen. It's similar to that one. And nowadays, we are all, or even the kids, Brad, you know, I started having a phone when I was maybe in grade 11. You know, my mom made sure, and I had a phone because I made a plan myself. You know, I might made sure that no phones before. You know, but nowadays everyone is glued in the screen, and that on its own it shows how much we are in the end time, man. So yeah, but let's move to it. You know, when you're talking about the end time, it's an event that's simply taking us to the second coming of Jesus Christ.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know? Maybe before we go through other details, that shows how much we're in the end time. Let's explain to someone who's sitting out there and doesn't know or understand what is the second coming of Jesus Christ.
Okay. I don't think we can just give a direct answer. We need to give a timeline.
Yeah, please do.
Yeah.
So maybe the question where someone would be asking is, when did the end times begin? Because if someone says end time, our grandfathers also died saying
It's about time.
the end time.
Yeah.
So remember, we spoke about the 3 warning shots.
Yeah.
The end always begins, remember, at the beginning of the warning shots.
Yes.
And so we have to date back in a bit of history. Around 1834, where the first warning shot was shot. Right? Where the message was about what? That judgment is about to begin. Right?
Yeah.
The Adventist church was formed from a group which was misled at first in the great disappointment. But one of the things we have to note about that, it was that one of the things they did right was actually preach the first angel's message.
Yeah.
Right? The first angel's message, which was indicative, of the fact that we need to give recognition to the Creator.
Yes.
Right? And also that the judgment is what? Has begun.
Yeah.
Right? So that is now the beginning of the end times. Right? So that's the first angel's message that started us off. Now, from there, we have to talk the second angel's message. Right? And the third angel's message, which we are saying we are currently living under.
Yes.
Now, in the middle of the messages, the book of Revelation is also occurring.
Yeah.
A number of complex events that we need to discuss before we actually talk about his second coming. Yeah. When are God's people going to be sealed?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Let me confuse, then actually find people. Right? Number one is the sealing of God's people is not going to begin at the end. Right? I said I'm going to confuse, then find. Right? The sealing of God's people started right in 1844.
Yeah.
Why am I saying that? We have two types of seals that God's people are going to be given. Right? The people who hear 1844, the first seal, we find it on the third angel's message. Hence, he ends the message that's supposed to be that says, blessed is he who dies from henceforth.
Hey.
From this moment, blessed is he who what? Who dies. Reason being, because if you die in the hands of Christ, you would have received a what? A seal. Right? If we find time, we speak about special resurrection. Yes. But now the seal we'll talk about is the seal where people have made the decision. That's the final sealing of God's people, whether do you stand for Christ or do you stand for the mark of the beast.
Yeah.
All of that has to happen. Then in the midst, we also have the devil who will be influencing the end times. A common confusion that happens in the end times, people think that it is God who is responding to what the devil is doing.
Okay.
Yeah. Common misconception.
Okay.
The devil responds to what God would have done. Right?
Okay.
Let me find you. Let me find the crowd.
Find us.
In the end times, God will pour out his latter rain.
Okay.
Yeah,
now, in response to the latter rain, that is, latter rain now will lead to the loud cry. The loud cry means we'll have mass evangelism.
Okay.
Right? Where people will be called to Christ. Now, in the midst of mass evangelism, that is when the devil will respond. His response, that's the mark where he then says he oppresses people who will be preaching.
You'll be forcing.
Right? We spoke about typology. We proved this with typology.
Okay.
Remember, the persecution of the early Christians, started after they started evangelizing, not before. Right? So God does not respond to what the devil does. The devil responds to what God does. The early Christians, God outpoured his Holy Spirit. Now when they were in the mission, the devil started persecuting. Right? Now in the midst of the persecution, when people are converting, and people will be converting, right? The early church converted people by their thousands. That's when persecution starts. And then we know we are about to get there.
Nice, man. You're talking about the seal. Maybe someone doesn't know what is a seal of God, or rather, let's start with the mark of the beast before, because I believe these two go hand in hand. Like you are saying, it's either you're on the other side or the other side. The other side is the seal of God. The other side is the mark of the beast. Maybe explain to the people the difference. What are we talking about when you are saying the mark of the beast?
Right. So, by the way, there is no difference. It's the mark and the seal. It just depends with which one are you receiving.
Yeah.
Right? And I hope you guys will capture the verses as we are
I will definitely
in the podcast. Right? Now, the seal of God, a seal is put to identify the people of God. Right? Now, in order to identify, it has to be something that sets people apart.
Okay.
Definitely.
Right?
Definitely.
Now, by the way, being a Christian won't be something that sets people apart.
Yeah.
I will repeat that
because everyone is a Christian now.
The large majority of the world is Christian.
Everyone is a Christian.
Right? I think the statistic they say over 50% of the world, if not more, recognizes themselves as Christians.
Yes.
So that is not what's going to set God's people aside, because then the whole universe would be a part of it.
Yes.
Now, amongst the Christians, now we need to find that what is the identifying factor of God. Now, one of the things is God and Jesus throughout his ministry, which we often miss, he preaches that the law represents his character. Right? So if the law represents his character, in order for God to identify his people, he will identify his people by their character. Right?
Yeah.
When you can see the character, even with us, the easiest way to identify Tumtwana Wagabani.
Yeah.
We see with the behavior.
Yeah.
Sometimes you see that
DNA
behavior. But when now Fana no Baba.
This one.
Yes.
Even the naughtiness, the talkativeness,
Tells you
everything.
that you are like your father.
Yeah.
So now the 10 Commandments, which by the way is an additional information, were the only piece of the Bible which God hand wrote himself.
Yeah.
Right? Because he did not want any mistakes when it comes to his character.
Yeah.
Definitely.
100%.
Yeah.
You could
Yeah.
have sent Angel Gabriel, by the way, with the message to Moses.
Yeah.
But you couldn't even trust Angel Gabriel with the sacredness of his character.
Yeah.
Yes.
He says, so his character will be the test of who his people are. Now, part of his character, this is the interesting part, is he identifies his character in 10 aspects. That is what we call
10
the 10 commandments.
Yeah.
There are
10
10
commandments.
aspects of God's character.
Yeah.
Powerful
Right?
stuff.
And now the interesting part is all Christians agree on the 9, except one
Yeah. Yeah.
of his character.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's a package, man.
And it's a package.
Because James said, if you break one,
You have broken all. Because you have misidentified the person.
you miss definitely.
I
You
think
know,
you can get sued these days.
you
You
see,
say someone is like this and they say,
Yeah.
even if you said good things about them, then you say it's
then you
thing
miss
about
one
it.
point.
You will
You
get
say,
the,
Like, no.
that's not me.
I'm not
That's
like
not
this.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? And unfortunately, on the character, it's the only character which God had also warned people that remember this characteristic.
Hey, he's the only one. Fascinating.
The only one.
Yeah.
Because God could foresee that we are going to forget that character.
Yo,
Yes.
fascinating.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
And the character is remember the Sabbath to keep it holy. Right? And he goes on to say, 6 days shall you labor. Right? But on this 7th one, right? You shall rest. Why should you rest? He gives you a reason. Actually, here's the interesting part about this character. Is that, by the way, on all the other characters, he didn't give them a reason why they should uphold them.
But only this one.
Only this one, he goes on to say,
It was detailed.
that the reason I want you to do this is because I also did it. Right? You spoke about characters. Be like your father. Do what your father did.
Yeah.
I can identify you because you are doing it because I also did it. Says you should because I, the Lord your God, rested on the 7th day.
That's
Now
powerful.
we
Yeah.
come to then we say no, we don't want this character. We don't want. Whose character are we then following in that regard? Because I, the Lord your God, rested on the same day. I want you to do so. Yes.
Nice.
That's
the seal.
That becomes
That's
the seal
basic,
of God. Ezekiel says, this is the seal of my
Yeah. That's the mark, actually.
Right? I will know them by how they keep the what? The
Definitely.
Sabbath. And throughout the Old Testament, by the way, one of the key issues the Israelites had was with keeping the Sabbath. Right? In Isaiah's times, Isaiah preaches a lot about the Sabbath. Because they had that problem with keeping the Sabbath. Everyone wanted to go about their business. It's a very business convenient day.
Yeah.
Right? We have so many people even in the Old Testament, as soon as Numbers. We have the guy who dies because he breaks the Sabbath. I mean, immediately the law has just been given. He was already ready to go about his business.
People actually were even wanted to be greedy even on the manna thing, because God would say, on Friday, you shall gather twice. Twice. But Sabbath, no manna would rain. But on the Sabbath, you would find people looking for
Who are
manna.
looking for man. And now let's maybe go into depth. We are saying it's a character. Why is this character? I mean, one could ask, of just keeping the Sabbath important.
Yeah.
Because it goes beyond the Sabbath. Number one, it goes into your testing your ability to be a steward. So a steward, are you able to keep time?
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Time means you are able to allocate time to work, allocate time for family, allocate time for worship. Right?
Yeah,
Because by the way, worship can only be done on the Sabbath. You can praise throughout the week.
But worship.
Worship is a day and a time. One would say, how do we prove I can worship every day in my day? Jesus has a conversation with a woman. Right?
Yeah.
What does she ask Jesus? That our forefather said we worship where? In the mountains.
there. Yeah.
You are saying we should worship in Jerusalem. Where should we go? Because worship is a location.
It's a specific location.
At a specific time.
Yes.
Yes, because they used to worship on the mountains on a Sabbath. By the
Okay.
way, because the Samaritans were no longer allowed in Jerusalem.
Okay.
Then Jesus says, "There shall come a what? A time." Now, when we worship God in the what? In the spirit, it's not saying you can worship anywhere. It's just saying it. The spirit indicates the worldwide nature of the gospel. Why? Because the starting point of the gospel starts in the day of Pentecost, when the spirit was outpoured so that we spread it outward. So worship is a time. Worship is a location, right? So it teaches us time observance. You can't be even a faithful worker who does not know how to keep time.
Yeah.
Right?
Definitely.
Number 2, it goes to greed. He mentioned the idea of manna that you would find people collecting. It was all because of greed.
Yeah.
They were scared that we might come back tomorrow and there's no manna.
Yeah.
Right? Now people are becoming greedy because everything they do is business centered. Why? Because they've left the characteristic of God. So any action we do, we are thinking of it from a business aspect. Humanity is no longer there.
Yeah.
Hence, nature preservation is not there. Right? We want something that makes us a quick buck in the quickest way possible. We have lost it because we lost the Sabbath. We became more selfish, more self-centered, more. You can see that it's one day, but elaborates so much about our character.
That's the seal of God.
Man.
That is the
That's
seal
the
of
seal of
Now
God.
that's the seal of God. Mr. Mandas, what do you have there? When someone is asking, what is the seal of God?
Yeah, man, I had to research on this one. It's deep. It's deep. Yeah.
It's deep, ne?
It's very deep.
It's very deep.
Because
Yeah,
we really find it, I think, in Revelation chapter 7.
Okay.
There is somewhere there, and also Revelation 13 was giving something on that also. But here it's saying that the seal of God, this refers to a spiritual mark on the foreheads of God's servants, symbolizing protection and belonging. So God here is actually protecting his people, 100%. And he is claiming that these people belongs to me. So if you're a Sabbath keeper, actually, you are claiming that you belong to God. So vice versa to that, if you are not a Sabbath keeper, you are claiming to be who? On whose side? You see. So I think a lot of people miss there. They miss it. Sabbath, I liked what he was explaining. Sabbath, it goes beyond. It goes beyond what we think. It's not just a day. Because we are actually remembering that God is our creator. That's why now, if you go to social media, I've seen in our Adventist circle in the social media, there's now this platform called Creation Sabbath. Creation Sabbath, yeah, it's just a movement which is calling themselves Creation Sabbath. But why I love it is, you can check it out, it's on Facebook mainly. But it's a reminder of what God has done for us.
Okay.
Like what he did when he created this world, then he rests on the Sabbath. Then God is saying, do the same. So even what he was alluding on to say, are we faithful enough to keep time? Are we even faithful with our family? Are we faithful in whatever we are doing? Because actually we are being drawn back to how we even run our lives.
Okay.
So it's not about specifically only on the Sabbath. It's about what were you doing until we get to the Sabbath. So when we get to that day now, that's why you see most of the people, even us as Adventists, we struggle because we did not do right during the week. Most of the people, they will be even sleeping here in church. You can tell that something wrong. Yeah. Something wrong. There's a day which you miss and you did not put your things right. You did not organize everything, whatever which you were supposed to do. But the seal of God basically is just God protecting us and belonging and also God claiming that you belong to me.
All right.
Yeah, that is my...
Let's bring it home to us. Us is sitting here. I will also say, before I even question you, I'm not. But the question is, would you say you are keeping the Sabbath in the best way of keeping the Sabbath, any of you?
The simple answer is no.
Oh, honestly.
Right.
Mr. Mandas.
The simple answer is very, very much no.
Yeah.
Right. The problem is we have lost the sense of being Adventism. So we sacrificed our Adventist principles on altars of modernity. Right? So that's the simple answer to that. Now, even core things we know, they are part and parcel of work. We are willing to do them on Sabbath. Right? We are ironing on Sabbath. We are making quick meals. Noodles can be made on a Sabbath morning. You know, things that were supposed to be done on preparation day. No one is preparing for the Sabbath anymore.
It's not happening.
And by the way, the Sabbath is a caution to even Adventists who think they are faithful. It's not a day for sleeping. Right? Yes.
Yeah.
You and a person who's sleeping on their Sabbath day and the person who is going to work, you and the person, you are exactly the same person.
Yeah,
right?
the same. Yeah.
One might be asking, but the word says rest. Go and understand what rest means there. The word rest from there, it's taken from the word Shabbat in Hebrew, which means cease from work. It's not saying rest as in sleep. To cease from stop your work, then attend. So the Sabbath was meant, Genesis puts it well for us, is that he sanctifies the day.
Yeah.
Right? So he puts it to sanctify, is to put aside, not just to put aside for holy use.
Okay.
There is nothing holy about you sleeping. Yes.
I'm amazed when people are saying, I'm just at home, I'm sleeping. Anyways, the Sabbath.
Yes.
I didn't do anything.
The Sabbath was only supposed to be for holy use. There is no other. If you are not finding yourself using it for holy things, you are breaking the Sabbath.
Yeah, definitely.
So I would say definitely we are not keeping the Sabbath. I am not. Let's be.
Yes. Hey, we are catching strays here,
Mr.
man.
Mandas, are you keeping the Sabbath, man?
It's tough, man, like what he's saying. Because actually, I've seen myself at a number of times. I would get home, even sometimes I would be telling you. You know, in our group, I would send a video note to say, hey, I'm actually driving, I'm on my way home, and that will be a Friday night. That time is around 8 p.m. I'm not even at home. Now I'm thinking, that trouser, I did not iron it. That shirt. Man, and, you know, there are... Guys, we are having people who are very serious with these things. I heard this other preacher was like, actually, your Sabbath must start on Sunday. You must actually think of another Sabbath when the week begins. So your preparation, even when you get to Wednesday day, you must know that, I'm wearing this shirt, I'm wearing this trouser, everything is organized. The menu for the food for Sabbath, you know it by Thursday, you are done with those things. So that when it's even... Actually, Friday, it's called preparation day, but maybe on a Friday, you are now just reflecting on how you are actually finishing your week. You know, when you get to Friday day, you're actually happy now to actually embrace the Sabbath, to welcome the Sabbath now. Friday is no longer that day of pressure to say, I need to iron, I need to do this, I need to cook. It's no longer that day for you.
Okay.
But when it's a Thursday, you are done with all those things.
Maybe let me challenge Adventists along those lines. Right?
Please do.
For a lot of us, right, and I'm a victim of this, we think as long as I am ending work at 6, it's okay if I am driving home.
Yeah.
You didn't end work because part of driving home and to work is part of the work.
Yeah.
Right? So as a faithful Sabbath keeper, you need to ensure that when you're ending work, you're ending it so that even your drive back home, right? And so your work ends once you get home, not when you ended it at work. So now that's a faithful Sabbath keeper. And we need to rectify. We cannot get the seal of God if we haven't rectified how faithful we are in keeping the Sabbath. And now the honest truth is God is not content with the bare minimum. And that's the reality that we do not want to talk about.
Never.
We think as long as I am doing a small portion for
You
God,
will understand.
God should understand.
And now people want to hide. Sorry, they want to hide with grace to say, no, we're gonna be saved by grace. Jesus is the one who's going to save us. But I mean, the divine power is there, but there's a human effort.
Yes.
What is the effort you are putting there as a person to try and do this thing right?
By the way, grace is not a substitute for obedience.
Hey.
Yes.
That is what I wanted to say.
Yes, so-
That is what I was
Grace
actually looking
is
for.
not a substitute for obedience.
A lot of us are
Hence,
hiding.
judgment is not going to be based on how much grace you received. Judgment will be based on how much you did after receiving
What
the
were
grace.
you doing?
That you don't receive grace so that you continue on sinning.
Yeah.
So that we receive grace so that we
We
continue
keep on
on sinning. And he
in
says
sin.
no. Nay. It is so that you become righteous after it. And we have that approach. Number one, we are very self-centered.
Very much.
Right? A lot of us, we have made gods of ourselves. So I have to be catered for first before I can cater to God. We are not servants of God. God is our servant.
No.
Yes. So as long as I need to be comfortable first. Then I can see what I can do for God.
Oh God, you know.
And even hence with tithing. Tithing is not that I take out
That's
God's
another
money
challenge.
first. Right? It's part of the sealing of God's people. Right? It's not that we take out God's money first. Let's deal with our bills. Then whatever is remaining, we'll give it for. Not actually tithing, I'm going for offering. Whatever I
People don't
remaining,
even offer, man.
that's what I can give for offering. Then that's not an offering. An offering starts before it's exhausted my. Then I can start offering. Right? But that's the sealing of God's people. You had also asked about the mark of the beast.
Yeah, I want to say
We have to talk
That
about
one,
the
yeah.
mark of the beast. Maybe let's read it.
Sorry, just before you go to the mark of the beast, there's also something when you're talking about the time when you are going home and you think you've done the work. There's something fascinating about Exodus 20 verse 8 there. There's a specific thing that we all miss, a specific ingredient. You and your servant, you as the Sabbath keeper, there's an ingredient that we are all missing, and it's unfortunate maybe because of the world we are living in right now. But honestly, the Sabbath was meant for someone who's a higher power, a higher master, someone who is servant.
I'm getting
so that also your servant. But now another thing that I've heard about us, we are now the tail instead of being the head. So as Sabbath keepers, we must make sure. Let's try, man. Let's try. I don't know how, but let's try to be there. At least so that the ones who are following us, it will be easy for them also to keep the Sabbath. Because how do you follow the Sabbath when your boss is saying, come here, So let's try also to work as much as we can. Another thing, we are very lazy as people. But back to the conversation, the mark of the beast.
The mark of the beast, I think, let's read it a bit. 14 verse 9 of Revelation then says, then the angel followed them, saying with a loud voice. And always caution that it's with a loud voice. And it means it's going to arrive to your ears. Whether you like it or not, it's going to be loud. It's not silent.
It's the third angel's message.
If anyone
the third one.
worship the beast. So the first aspect has to do with worship. You worship the beast and his image and receives his mark on two aspects, on his forehead and on his hands. Right? He himself, now God gives the punishment for this. Now let's conclude. I skipped to 13 to 12 that then says, here is the patience of the saints. Here are those who keep the commandments of God and the faith of Jesus. Right? So what it is saying is that, number one, the mark of the beast will have to do with worship. Right? We're not going to be standing in a line and say, who wants to receive? Let's stamp you. It has to be doing, who are you going to affiliate with? Who are you going to worship? Are you going to serve God? Serving God has to do with taking his character. Right? As a child of God, you take his character. That's why you're called a child of God. You take the character. Or are you going to do the opposite? Right, which is take the character of what? The image of the beast. Talking about the what? The character. And it has to do with worship. Now, what we have noticed about how the devil operates throughout the Bible is that he gets a counterfeit.
Okay.
Yes.
So a counterfeit means when God does something, the devil looks for something equivalent to whatever God has done. Now, his counterfeit then comes in the history with Sunday worship.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right? Now, the fact that it's a counterfeit is a keyword because a counterfeit has to look like the original. So it has to be, it has the reasons why it looks like the original. Hence now we find that, number one, throughout the whole Bible, God never calls to be worshipped on a Sunday. Right?
100%.
People in their human logic says, no, we have thought more than God. Because Jesus, one of the reasons, resurrected on a Sunday. So we should worship him. You don't decide on worship. The one who is to be worshipped decides on how he wants to be worshipped.
Yes.
Right? They say Sunday. So when he gives you the counterfeits, he gives you all the reasons why it will be did. And now here's the interesting aspect is that this is going to be a worldwide event. Right? So everyone, now I'm talking Muslims who worship on a Friday, are going to agree that worshiping on a Sunday is the correct day of worship. The Buddhists who don't have a day of worship, who all agree. By the way, the atheists and the agnostics, who all agree that worshiping on a Sunday is going to be the way forward. What would make them agree? That would be someone is thinking, how would you make a Muslim agree? Right? It says as we're heading into the last days, as the gospel would be preached. Right? Now, notice the difference between the two. The gospel on one side will be preached. The devil on the other side, he will perform miracles.
Serious one.
Right? So the counterfeit, look at the difference. One is performing miracles. Matthew then says, you even call fire to come from heaven and it what? Descend. That even the elect of God, those who once believed, they will shift their faith to say, here in evangelism, there is no miracles. Let's go to where there are miracles.
Where there are miracles.
Right? And you see that the miracles are being performed on Sunday, then you say, truly, this is the day of worship. So the whole world will be universally agreeing that we are going to enjoy worship on a Sunday. That is one thing they will have agreement on. They will come with so many aspects, nature conservation, that we need a day where the whole world is at rest. Sabbath, which God had already prescribed for us. Part of nature was that nature itself needed to rest on a Sabbath. We can't keep on taking from it on a Sabbath. Right? That's why we are finding so many problems with our universe today, because we didn't observe. They will come, but now they will counterfeit the day and say this, and the whole universe will agree. Now it says forehead. The forehead represents their conscience, their minds. Right? It would have all made sense to them. They receive the mark in their minds. The hands represent the work. Right? So in your works, you are willing to cease from your work for a Sunday, you are ceasing from your work, you are resting. Right? That is the two aspects. Which are the two aspects of sealing of God's people, by the way? It has to happen in your mind. The Sabbath has to start in your mind. He mentions that from the beginning of the Sabbath, you have to already be looking forward to it. It's not a burden. We look forward to the day where we rest, where we enjoy worship and dine with God. Right? Then we also have to cease from our work, from our heads. So as others will be receiving the seal of God in their minds and in their heads, others will be unfortunately receiving the mark of the beast.
Yes, alluded everything.
You don't have anything, maybe just one or two things to add on there.
All right.
Mark of the beast.
On the mark of the beast, as you are saying, this is a symbolic mark on the right hand or forehead representing allegiance to the beast, often interpreted as opposition to God.
Okay.
So, or maybe you didn't want to mention it. Actually, the people who had changed all these things to Sunday, it was the Roman Catholic Church.
Yes.
Maybe I'm the one to say it.
No, they agree that they also changed.
It's even in their catechism.
Public.
This thing is a public information. It's not like we are just saying it here for the sake of just saying it. So it's there. If you look in their catechism, it's there. They're actually saying it is our authority, you know, because the Sabbath shows God's authority.
Yes.
Because he created. So the same with the Catholics, they say in Sunday is their authority.
Yes.
Because they changed the Sabbath from Saturday to Sunday. So they feel that there's what? They have power. Hence now, all this influence, for us now, we are seeing a lot of people who are worshipping on what? On Sunday. That is how they feel that they have authority. And these guys, people listen to them. Check how the Pope is the way he's being respected in the world. World leaders, politicians, They all respect the Pope. He has power. He has power. Hence, this influence. And you know what people don't realize is there has been a learning process. It's now normal to go to church on Sunday. So now, even if they would announce it, I don't know if you're seeing this, man. Check whenever they're doing their meetings, UN, even if they're speaking about climate change. I want to go to his point when he was speaking about nature. If you listen closely, you can tell that that meeting is a Sunday agenda. Because one person stood up and said that actually the world must rest. They are calling it now the world must rest. And the only day the world would rest, it's Sunday. You are just thinking that it's just politics. We don't care of these things. Yeah, sometimes, I don't like news. But now I'm also going close to there, listening to, but what is happening? I'm hearing
I'm also
things
one
there.
of them. I don't like the politics and news. Yeah.
You know, but things are happening. They are discussing about Sunday. They are saying the world must rest. Then there is a Sunday agenda. But whenever they are doing that meeting, especially when it's about the climate change, Sunday agenda is there. Always it's there. So yeah, we are in. All right. We are in with this one.
I was about to get to the Roman Empire. I don't know if you have anything. He has already started from the...
Yeah, he has already started. Maybe someone might be asking, why are we just pinning all this problem?
The Roman Catholic...
Maybe one clarification. We are not saying Roman Catholics are bad people. We are saying the system in which they are in. That is a wicked system.
Yeah.
Right? We need to date back to the history of the Romans. I think if we want to understand anything, we have to go back to history. Right?
Yes.
Remember who killed Christ? It was the Romans. The Israelites did agree also. We can't avoid them. But it was the Romans, and they were in charge at the time. Right? Going on further, who was persecuting the martyrs? It was the Romans. It was called the Roman Empire at the point.
Yeah.
Right? But the Roman Empire had a problem. This is in history, guys. Please go back and read history.
Yeah, it's
public knowledge.
Had a problem with Christians. Is that no matter how much they killed the Christians, they were exponentially multiplying.
Yeah.
It seems as if the death of Christians were motivating people to be even more Christians. Right? So now the devil noticed that, if you can't beat them, you join them.
Yeah.
Right? Now we're in 538, where we have one of the Roman emperors called Constantine. Who suddenly claims he had a vision when he was at war, right? Of a cross.
Okay.
Right? Then after the vision of the cross, he then says the whole Roman Empire is suddenly changed into the Roman, is going to be the Roman Catholics we know, or the papal system, right? Where he was trying to merge state and the church.
Church and state, yeah.
Right? And now going on forward, now notice the history, how it dates back. All the early Christians were Sabbath keepers.
Okay.
Yeah.
There is no point in the Bible where people kept the Sabbath on a Sunday. They were Sabbath keepers.
From the first century.
From the first century.
Yeah.
Actually, from the history of humanity.
Yeah.
Because people were Christians not only after Christ's death, by the way. People were Christians before Christ died because they believed in Christ. Right? In the Old Testament, they believed in a coming Messiah who was Christ. So people were Christians from the beginning of the universe.
Okay. True.
So everyone was keeping the Sabbath. Then the Romans came in and said, no, because they had a day of observance, which was Sunday, where they observed their God who was Ra, the sun god. Right? Can't we balance? Why can't we have, by the way, the whole reason we have a weekend of 2 days, it comes from there.
Yeah.
Can't we balance? And let's still keep on resting on the Sabbath, but add to it, man.
Okay.
Sunday, what harm could it be?
Okay.
Right? If we're having 2 days where we're dedicating worship to. And it was a good sell to the Christians.
Yeah.
And Christians, we are not abolishing Sabbath, we are
yeah.
adding. That's, by the way, if you want to go back to history, that's where weekend came from.
Okay.
That's why Sunday and Saturday are weekends.
Oh.
Saturday, yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So now there were two. Then eventually they were starting to infiltrate all their papal or paganism. Right?
Paganism
into the
practices.
church.
Yes.
Now that's why now we have the church which worships statues, which never happens before.
Yeah.
Right? We have Christians today, we have images of Christ in their church.
Yeah.
Right? Part of the 10 Commandments, Christ never said, build me a statue. Right?
Saying anything on the earth, even under.
So in introducing this, they took over
the
church to the extent that they then took over the Bibles. Now we go into a history called the Dark Ages, where now they had control of all the Bibles, and Christians were no longer allowed to personally have the Bible.
Yeah.
Now, interesting enough, the Roman Catholic Church became rich today due to the Dark Ages. Because they were the only ones who had the gospel, and they manipulated the gospel. Yeah. So they would have systems like, if you want your loved one who has passed away to go to heaven, pay us so that we move them from purgatory to what? To heaven.
Yeah.
And that's how that's why it's the richest church too today.
Yeah.
Literally, the Pope walks around with the pure gold stuff.
A real gold.
A real gold. Right. Apparently, by the way, the richest point in the world is the Vatican City. You might try to hide it.
Yeah. That's the richest point in the world.
Okay.
Vatican.
The Vatican City.
Yeah.
Right, which is the only city that recognized as a country. Yes. A very powerful country, by the way, and the most protected country in the world. Right? Because the Pope. So that's how they infiltrated the church. Now, that's where Protestantism comes from. Now, go back to the history of the Lutheran churches, which were protesting against what is happening in the Roman Catholic Church. We have one of the great writers, Martin Luther King. Not King. King becomes the politician. Martin Luther, right? Who writes to protest against the Roman Empire and what they were saying against, because after he had discovered the Bible, then after him we have the likes of John Huss, we have the likes of who protested against all of that. Now, to further the truth, Protestantism now comes at the end point with the Adventism.
Okay.
Who outside, we took all what these other guys were saying, then we added the Sabbath. That this was an aspect that was forgotten. Right? So we are saying now the Roman Empire still continued to run, but it's running in the form of the Roman Catholic Church. Number one, it's the church with the most membership in the church, in the world. Number two, it's the only church which you don't know whether do they stand for conservatism or for liberalism.
Okay. Maybe explain for viewers.
Right? Churches in the world are either conservative or liberal. Conservative means they are very staunch. They are very strict in their principles of dressing, strict in their principles. We are talking true Adventism, strict in their principles of eating. Because an Adventist does not just eat anything. Right? They are that's conservatism. We have so many churches. To give an example, is the ZCC church could be regarded as conservative. Right? They are strict in their dress reform, strict even in their diet reform. Right?
I don't know about the diet.
Yes, they are very strict. ZCC is true. ZCC is obviously they are always the ones they don't even eat salt in their food because they understand about how salt degrades our health. Part of the Adventist health message. Right? Yes. So they are strict. Then you have the liberal churches, Pentecostalism. We say there's grace and grace abounds here. Once saved, forever saved. Or you just need to do anything goes. Christ ultimately will save all of us. Right? The Catholic Church is the only church that does not stand on either side.
It's neither hot or cold.
I'm only realizing
it supports both sides because all the conservative churches, and they are all under the umbrella of the Catholic churches. We give you the doctrines. Be conservative for those who want to be conservative. Be liberal for those as long as you guys recognize us as your mother church. Right? And that we pass down the laws going down. And by the way, the fathers of all these Pentecostal churches were all Catholic. Yes. The AFM comes from a Catholic father. Right? You go to all, they were all Catholic. Right? They all stem from that idea. So they are in charge. Now, in their part of being in charge, they then say, we are going to give you a counterfeit day. Because we have a Pope who stands face to face with Christ. Right? And he is able. So who will give you? Christ says, observe me on this day. The Pope says, Sunday is the day to go. So it's now up to you on which day are you going to follow. Right?
Powerful stuff.
And now maybe let's expand. We've said a lot. Expanding free will is dangerous in this manner.
Okay.
Is that neither both sides can make the decision for you. They can present you with options. God calls you in evangelism. This one calls you, that time it will be in persecution. It will depend on which side you personally decide upon.
There's always a choice.
Now, the point of church today is not that you can say, I'll wait until that day and I will present. What makes you make the choice is your character today. If you are self-centered, by the way, 666 just represents the number of men, self-centeredness. You will be wanting to preserve yourself.
Okay.
If you are self-centered, it's very obvious which side you are going to take. Because the other side will use harsh means. They will take all your resources away from you. They will take, it will be harsh means. The other side, which is God's people, it will be a tough time for them.
Very
right?
Tough.
To stand for the gospel won't be an easy. It needs true character development.
Yeah.
Right?
We need the Holy Spirit.
We should be there
Yeah.
to support our character, but it will be a matter of choice because of free will. Right? When Eve was faced with the opportunity, it was a matter of choice. Do I listen to the serpent or do I listen to God? This is what will happen to us. Do we listen to the serpent or do we listen to God?
That's very powerful.
Nice, man. All right. You don't have anything there because I want to move to the judgment now.
I think this one,
Alright.
we have the,
From my own understanding, there are two judgments. There's a judgment day. You know, I believe maybe all of us, we do know what's a judgment day. And there's another judgment which comes from the doctrine of Seventh-day Adventist Church, which is the investigative judgment.
Oh,
and maybe someone is sitting out there hearing the word for the first time. How best can you explain what is an investigative judgment?
So, as Adventists, we do not believe in two judgments.
Yeah.
We believe that there is only one judgment, and the judgment is investigative.
Okay.
What do we mean by that? That number one, there is never a day where sinners will face God.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
And they will be told you are going to hell or whatnot. Right? By the time Jesus returns, judgment is over. He is coming to take the faithful ones.
actually there's probation time.
There's probation time. We're coming to that. Right? Meaning judgment should have occurred before.
Okay.
Right? Now we come back to Daniel, chapter 8 to 10. Unto 2,300 days, which was confused by people.
Yeah.
The sanctuary shall be what? Cleansed. Cleansing of the sanctuary was referring to the Day of Atonement. What would happen in the Day of Atonement?
Yes.
Day of Atonement, judgment would begin. Judgment of Israel would begin. But remember, we are dealing with typology, meaning a small event represents a worldwide event.
Yeah.
Now, in 1844, the typology of after 2,300 days says the judgment began. What has been happening? Judgment, the books of all the Old Testament people, the New Testament, have been opened, and the people have been are being judged.
Yeah.
Right now, the question might be: here is also the confusion amongst the Adventists that there is a claim that we are being judged as we live.
Okay.
That does not make sense. Judgment is a final statement, pen out.
Yeah.
So we can't. God does not judge, then change His mind when you become good. Right? Now, He spoke about probation. People living today are being given a chance.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Judgment is
Repent.
occurring for those who are already dead. We are being given a what? A chance. Now, our chance, because we shall not all die. Right? Now, you have a group. We spoke about the gospel being preached in masses and the devil responding. There will be a group that will die for the gospel. We call them the martyrs.
Okay.
Right? For them, then their judgment will occur upon their death. Now we will have a group that survives the persecution. Right? Probation after that is closed. Probation closed would mean that there is no one else from here who can turn either way. Meaning God is now making his final judgment. Those who are just, let them remain just. Those who are wicked, let them remain wicked. That will come, the judgment will come due to your choice. Which side have you chosen to be amongst? Now, those who are faithful in God, they will receive now the seal of God. Those who receive the mark of the beast will now receive that mark. Neither of the two groups, by the way, can die from henceforth. Right? You have people who cannot die. No matter how you step them, They will not die. Now, that is now also representing the beginning of the second, now the actual transitioning of the what?
Of Christ.
Second coming of
Yeah.
Christ. Yeah. Now we have events like the Battle of Armageddon.
Yeah.
Right? Where maybe as we are heading, I don't know, are we heading towards concluding so that we can...
Yeah, you are about there now.
We now need to talk about these battles. That the tables then turn. The plagues start.
Yeah.
Right? Now, this is the interesting narrative about what will happen with Christians. Right? A lot of us, we are so scared about the end days because we think it is progressive suffering. It is because we have not understood the typology in the Bible.
Yeah.
We have a God who preserves Israel in the Old Testament in the midst of suffering. Right? I mean, let's talk about Elijah. Right? Elijah represents the end time. He preaches, they do not believe. Then the famine was as a result of their sins. God's punishment. Right? Elijah was not suffering during the famine.
Yeah.
He was nicely enjoying bread from heaven by the brook.
Yeah.
That is God preserving.
Yeah.
Now listen to the narrative as a Christian today who wants to be faithful. This is what will happen. God, yes, it might be tough at the beginning, but the latter rain is there to strengthen us. Will take us out of the cities, take us out to secluded places.
Yeah.
Not so that we suffer there, so that He can preserve us there. Right? Now the whole world will now experience plagues. The plagues won't be a nice time. Eh?
Just like Egypt, eh?
Just like Egypt. Now the plagues are not going to be affecting the children of God who are by the brook. Right? The children of God will be receiving manna from heaven. It will be a nice time. It will be affecting the whole world. Economically in all aspects. And this is suffering that they can't end by suicide.
Hey.
Because you can't die.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Now the rivers will turn red with like blood, so drinkable water is not there. Fish will die, food is not being able to find. To the extent that now the battle will start.
Yeah.
Where they then call each other and say, no, the problem is not us. Because let's go back to the Garden of Eden. There is blame shifting. The problem is always with the other person. But in this case, those people might be living nice in the brook. Let us go and attack them. Now Daniel chapter 12 then says, and in that time, the time of Jacob's suffering, like people who are suffering are those people who were wicked. Jacob's time of suffering, yes. They'll say, let's go and attack and kill those people. Now it then says, and Michael shall stand. Now Michael's standing, he is standing for his people. It says, in response to what you guys are about to do to my people. Now let me show you that I can stand for what? For my people. Right, for those who are asking, I mentioned special resurrection. By the way, prior to that, God's people who died from 1844, maybe if we have some other time, we elaborate further. They will be resurrected. Why? The simple reason is they preached about the second coming of Christ. Right, the three angels message. They have to get their reward of seeing it occur. They preached about the three angels message. Right, that there will be So those who die today, if I die today and I preached, die in the faith of the message, I did not see it occur. So to me, it was not a reality. God wants you to experience that reality.
Yeah.
Not only you, also those who persecuted Christ, who preached against the message, persecuted the matter, they have to be resurrected for their part. Yes, these are resurrected for their reward. That they can see the process, because the second coming, 7 seals, is a process. Right, which includes so many miraculous things like the 10 commandments will be written in the sky. You know, it will be a process that does not happen in one day. Right? I know a lot of Christians think it will be in an instant. It's very disappointing even for Adventists to preach that Christ can just come tomorrow. Christ cannot come tomorrow. It's a process in which Christ will come. Right? By the way, God's people by then, they will even know the time and the hour and the day.
They will know.
Because there is no longer any reason for God to conceal it from them. Then they will undergo this whole process. As the world is suffering, it's ready to defeat them. Michael then stands for his people. Now, after Michael stands, now these people say, hey, this is a battle we cannot fight. That the skies are even responding. Say, mountains fall on us. Please let us die. We would rather die than face him who is coming. So they also have an idea that, hey, He's about what?
To come.
Come.
Yeah.
We can't face him. Who is what? Who is
He's
coming.
coming. Oh,
Right?
man.
And we see this throughout the Bible.
Yeah.
During Noah's Ark,
Yeah.
where does that represent? We need to find it in the Bible always.
Yeah.
Right? The door of the ark closes. We need to note it closes how many days before? 7 days before
7
the
days,
rain.
Yeah, 7 days. Yeah.
There were people, by the way, who tried, who were convinced only after the door was shut.
Yeah.
Right? And they tried to say, please let us in.
Open for us.
Open for us. Now we can see that the rain, they saw the skies. They've started
happening.
Then he was
telling
like,
the rain.
it's not me
It's
who
not
closed.
me who closed the door.
Yeah.
For Noah, now it was now a good time. The tables have turned.
Yeah.
It moved from more car on this side of the door to a
Then
good
it-
time.
Yeah.
Other side of the door. Why am I saying? I'm also wanting to give hope for Adventists who are living in fear, who fear is overtaking their faith. That we have a God who ultimately will stand for you.
Yeah.
Right? Revelation chapter 5, and a God who responds. In Revelation chapter 6, one of the fifth seal, there is a cry out from the martyrs who died for the gospel. How long shall you take till you have avenged us? Then we get the response in the plagues, where God responds to that how long, that I am now ready to avenge all the things that you guys have suffered.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Do you have anything to add there?
You know what? I don't want to take anything from him, man.
All right.
Yeah, he has alluded everything.
Now,
Yeah.
after all those things, then the second coming happened.
Yeah.
All right. After the second coming, there's a millennium celebration.
The 1,000 years.
The 1,000 years. Maybe in passing there, how can you explain what is the millennium celebration? The
So
1,000
part and parcel of the healing.
Yeah, that one is.
I need to title it intentionally as a healing process for the Adventists. Heaven is not any instantaneous, to say it's a process. And we have a God, I love the word Emmanuel, which we don't tend to understand. Right? Emmanuel, which Isaiah promises that God who will be with us, or God with us. It was not that God was absent, by the way.
Yeah.
God was always with them. But Emmanuel meant that God would be intimately with humans, who will understand what it feels like to be a human. Right? Part and parcel of Jesus understanding what it feels like being a human, he understands that it's not going to be an easy thing for us. As much as heaven will be glorious, right? We still have loved ones who will be lost along the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We still
That's
have
very
decisions that happened to us on earth that we still do not understand. Right? Now, God will take 1,000 years to heal us.
Yeah.
Right? By the way, not only that, part of healing is we still have to restore our actual nature.
Okay.
Right? Let's go into depth a bit
Okay.
on the actual nature. Humanity was not created like this. We have downgraded due to sin.
Yeah.
Right? The first years of humanity, that's Genesis 1-6, we could remember everything. We didn't need to write.
Now look at us.
Right?
Yeah.
We could remember.
How we have downgraded,
Right?
man.
The pen of inspiration writes that we were giants. Very tall. That was our stature, and we got shorter due to sin.
Look at
We
us.
are now even here.
Right? Our life expectancy was very high. Part of healing means we need to restore. People confuse that with 1 Corinthians chapter, which says, in a twinkling of an eye, our body shall be transformed. It's not saying we are going to be restored to what we were in Eden, that we still have to recognize each other. Remember?
Yeah.
It's just saying that the body you are wearing or the garment you are now wearing, it's not this corruptible clothes that
Yeah.
Adam was given after sin. Corruptible. It's not, but rather now as we eat, as the pen of inspiration says, from the tree of life, restoration happens. Your long memory starts coming. It's a progressive nature. Yeah, I think, right? Our bodies start growing to the actual nature. For those who died old, right? They are not going to be restored, reincarnated, or as people say, then they become young people.
They will start from
As
their
they are eating from the tree of life, restoration happens. They are gaining what they were supposed to be.
Yeah.
Now we are the most handsome men, like Adam. Adam is the most handsome man who ever lived, because with him there was no corruption of sin.
Yeah.
Eve is the most handsome woman, the most beautiful woman,
yes.
because she's the we restore ourselves to that original stature. But apart from that, now God is willing for us to review his judgments with him. where we can ask, why is my mother not here? God proves himself to humanity. Man, this is what we love about God, right?
Yeah, God.
When we call him Yahweh, he who is great, who is so great that he cannot be contained, but so little enough that he can live in the hearts of men. Right? He will now know that we need that process of healing. He's willing to explain. Imagine being a king explaining yourself to a servant. He says, no, let me explain to you. This is how I was availing myself to your mother. Right? This is to the extent that after you have seen the full picture, you will say, God, if I was in your shoes, I would have done the exact same thing. Indeed, you are just. That woman does not deserve to be here. This is how.
You'll be content.
And then that's where he wipes away all our tears. So by the time we come back, the 1,000 years, because that's not, remember, that's just a temporary destination, by the way. Earth is still our home.
We still need to come back.
After we come back,
with life.
we will be people who are restored wholeheartedly. Hence, even in the facing, we never talk about where Hades come, where fire rains and things. We need to be prepared for that. Because it's not easy to see our loved ones being destroyed. Right? The 1,000 years with God would have prepared us for that. We would be saying, God, destroy them. And furthermore, even the character would be a wholesome character created that sin cannot be repeated again on earth. If the prince was to suggest sin, Raphael would say, God, this one, leave him for me. Let me go and deal with him because where he wants to take us
again. No, we don't need that.
But it's a time for restoration where God does that. Hence, by the way, we are not going to instantly go to heaven when you die. We need to be there together. Review God. The 1,000 years are for all of us, and not others can't have the 1,002 for us. Everyone who encounter the 1,000 years.
Powerful stuff.
All right, the 1,000 years will be happening to us. Why am I saying to us as if I'm already there? All right,
it's good prophecy.
It's a pain that. All right, that's good faith.
For the one who are faithful, they will be in heaven, right? Like you are saying, and correct me if I'm wrong, the ones who were not so doing right,
the ones who are wicked, the ones who are wicked. There is no better sinner.
The wicked ones.
What will happen to them?
On the 1,000 years.
On the 1,000 years.
During the 1,000 years, the moment you die, you cease to exist. Right? You are not there. They are dead. They remain sleeping.
All right.
For the whole 1,000 years, they are sleeping. There is no further life. They are not burning. They are not in hell. They are just sleeping. Right?
Right?
The only people who are in existence on earth, the earth becomes the devil because that's his punishment. Where he can no longer, basically, he is in isolation. For that 1,000, where he can't influence anyone, where he's just bounded to earth. He can't get out of earth. Right? He's just bounded to this. While the other ones are just sleeping. So for them, if you die today in a wicked state, the next time you resurrect is when you are seeing the new Jerusalem descending from heaven. And you have the devil in your ear say, let us go and conquer that city. Then fire, hell is not a place. Right? It's an event that happens. Where fire rains from heaven, comes from underground, and it burns. God, out of love, does not burn people eternally.
Right?
Hey,
that one,
God will just destroy them
that
from
one.
that period. We don't have a God who enjoys punishing people. People always think God. We don't have a God who actually have a God who is touched with our grief.
Are going to burn up.
Right? Even for the wicked, we have a God who is still touched with their grief. He can't burn them for eternity. We don't have a God who thinks he's like, when we are sitting by the fire with marshmallows, and we have a God as he's portrayed in some movies who enjoys seeing people doing that. He does not enjoy seeing the suffering of humanity. Hence, it will just be an event, and it does, and God now creates a new heaven, creates a new earth for us. Right?
In passing, as we are closing, even for you, both of you, to say, do you think there will be another generation to say, if we have kids right now, do you think our kids will have children also? Or in just personal viewing of
okay, it's an opinion.
Yeah, just an opinion.
Okay, for me, because I want to relate with the events, with everything, how the world is going, I would say Because how old am I now? Okay, I don't wanna expose my age. But I would have a kid. A kid is gonna come. But what I can say is, I'm living in the context of the events. I don't think we still have more than 70 years.
What he's saying is an opinion. We're not saying it's an opinion.
But another 70 years, just normal like this.
What do you think, Mr. Prince?
I also think, that the end is right around the corner. Maybe it's just an addition, and to say what might delay is our faithfulness and our evangelism. Because remember, we mentioned that what will prompt the persecution. The devil will not just start persecuting people. It is the evangelism part. So we might delay it for another generation. Right? We remember the children of Israel. They delayed it for another generation. They were right at the door of Canaan.
But now they needed
40 years. These were not the ones who carry out the issue of Canaan, that last battle. Right? God then says these are not the ones who carry out the last battle because they are not they don't believe in me that much. Right? So we might be the one, but I don't see us saying, because I am seeing evangelism is starting. Just because we are not doing it doesn't mean it's starting. I mean, this is already an initiative to catch any corner. No one after who listens to this says, I have never heard about the Sabbath. You have heard about it. I didn't hear that Jesus is coming. Now we are telling you Jesus is coming. Yes. So it's part and parcel of that initiative. So we don't have a lot of time. The moment you start seeing in every media the gospel being preached, you know that if I am not ready, let me start getting my books in order.
How powerful, man.
Guys, it's very fascinating.
Do you have anything before we close?
What I would say is, as much as we were speaking about this, let us also go and live the word. I think that is his emphasis to say, part of evangelism, let's go and live the word. Even to the listeners, as you are listening, as you are learning about this, let us go and share this, go and live the word. We don't have time, actually, to be honest. We don't have time because even in the world, they are pushing the Sunday agenda now. It's not even far. It's even now they are pushing it. So what makes you think that you have more time? So let us go and live the word. Let us evangelize. Let's tell people that Christ is coming.
Do you have any close remarks?
I would give a story maybe as a closing remark. A story is told about a soldier. A soldier who went to war with others. And they realized that this was happening in Rhodesia. Right? In that small country called Rhodesia. And as they were fighting, this soldier realized that, our guns, the type of guns we have, these AK-47 are not as competent as the machine guns that these other ones. We are losing soldiers here. And the soldier then went and hid in a cave. Right? Remember, wars go on for years and years. So the soldier would only come out, hunt for food, go back to his cave. Come out, hunt for food, go back to his cave. Not knowing that the war has already ended. Now he's still continuing coming out. When he thinks the war is happening, it's still happening outside. Worst part is what happens is after the war, some 5 years after the war, the soldiers make a camp near the cave. So every time he goes out, he hears gunshots. He thinks, the war is still happening. He goes back into the cave to hide. Now what happens is years later, some journalists were passing there. The cave say, what's happening in the cave? They discover this man who's been hiding for years in the cave. He's now even an old man in the cave. What has happened? They're like, the war that you're talking about ended ages ago. Right? And the guy's like, so there was even now a question when we are rewarding soldiers. Can we reward this soldier? And everyone's concern is that we can't. Because he did not fight there. He was just hiding. What am I saying to the Christian today? That there is no reward for a Christian who's just sitting dormant in a cave to say, I won't get involved in this. If it happens, let it happen there. Maybe I'll just try to be my good Christian, come to church on Sabbath, Let me end. There is no reward for you to do that. Reward are for soldiers who will go to war.
Yes.
Right? Evangelism is our war. It's not going to be easy. One of the hardest things to get sponsors for is evangelism, by the way.
Yeah.
Right? Because
that we know.
Because anything that is entertainment wise, by the way, it's easy to get sponsors.
Yes.
Right? If you want to do a concert here, people are willing to pay 500 every month. You want to do an evangelism, no one will give you that 500 because we're in a war. So those who are sitting idle, there is no reward also for you. Let me just remind those because they think they are safe. You are not safe. You are just the same as the opposition.
You are not.
Who is fighting against God. And that would be my closing remark. Let us fight this war together.
Yeah. We can fight this war together by simply subscribing. It's very simple. There's nothing. It's free. If you are on the social media, you know, if you subscribe, you are pushing with us. We have a tradition as Rhythm and Charts. We ask the guests to leave a question for the upcoming guest. Just one question about anything.
My question is in the context of what we discussed today. That with all that is happening in this world, is it possible to still find a Job today?
Is it possible?
To find a Job? A Job, he who is perfect, upright, blameless. And today, can we find that character today?
Powerful.
The Job who suffered, the Job Darwan who suffered with the boys who was crashing.
Actually, you even stretched my question. Even in the midst of suffering, does he still remain perfect and upright?
So
powerful.
That's the Job we are talking about.
Nice. From Rhythm and Charts, ladies and gentlemen. We're out here. Gezo.
Dango.
Bashirena